Hello. How is it going? There's a dog that needs to get a treat. He's been waiting patiently. He's been waiting so patiently. I think we can give him a treat. He's sneezing on me. He's breaking everything he can break. He sneezed on me again. Let's give the dog a treat. I think he could use one. I think I could use giving the dog a treat myself. And there you have it. I saw a request to give the dog a hug. I can do that. Very squeezable dog. Very squeezable from all sides, and that's what we look for in a dog. Squeezability. The top priority when evaluating dogs. I should be one of those judges at one of those competitions where they judge things, which I guess is most competitions, but specifically the ones for dogs. I should be a judge in every competition, every single one. He looks fluffy. He is. He's fluffy, and he really likes to sit in the one spot where I have cables. Like, he's just all about that. He's all about that sitting exactly where I have cables life. So, you know how that goes. How's it going, everybody? My name is Endeavorance. It is Friday, December. I'm going to say 19th. Yes. And also, a year. They did it. They put a year at the end of the date. No one explained anything about that to me. I don't know how that's supposed to work. You're telling me that I live through 365 days and then we just go back to one? No, we are not going back. That's what Kamala Harris told me. And I'm a man of her word. Everything that she's ever said, I fully endorse. That's a lie. That is such a lie. Oh my God. He's all about that cable management, says Localez. I keep saying, like I've said like 10 times to myself, that I am going to go to like Office Depot or something and finally get some fucking like floor runner conduit for some of the cables in here. Because here's the thing. Let me show you a thing. All right, here's the thing. This is the thing, okay? This is a thing, right? We're doing some show and tell. Welcome to my, welcome to my show and tell stream. I'm a toddler, and I'm gonna show and tell. So I have this, which is like a big extension cable, right? It's really, really convenient. It's like a 50-foot long, heavy-duty extension cable with some plugs on it, and it self wraps back up. Super useful for being able to set up whatever device wherever I need to put it. Either like I've been using it in the studio for like if I need to put the lights somewhere that there's not like a convenient outlet, I can use this. It's great. Except I tripped over it already. Like I've used it to record like 1.5 videos, and I've already tripped and eaten shit because this was on the ground and not covered up by some kind of conduit. So I really want to get that. Also, for those who don't have this sort of like lore context, I was for a few years a assistant tech director at a theater, and so I have like very specific feelings about how wires should be managed and set, and I also have an unending love and appreciation and respect for gaffer's tape. So welcome to my stream. I'm talking to you about cable management and gaffer's tape. So the Epstein files, that's what I have to, here's my comment on the Epstein files. It's a lot. So, okay. All right. Let's get this out of the way early. Okay. There's like a deadline today to release the Epstein files. This is the weirdest shit ever. So aside from the weird shit about the Epstein files being a thing, there's essentially like legislation that made its way through Congress because to have voted it down would have been to look extremely guilty. And this legislation essentially just says you need to release the Epstein files by this time. That time is quickly approaching. I believe it's midnight tonight, or was midnight last night. It's the time. The deadline's today. It doesn't matter the exact hour. So the legislation essentially says, like, release everything. And Trump fucking signed that, right? Now, we know that doesn't really matter because Trump or Joe Biden signed the TikTok ban into law, and TikTok has not been banned and will soon be owned by Oracle, which we'll get to that later. But the man signed a law saying release the files, and now they legally have to be released. If the Department of Justice doesn't release the Epstein files, like, members of the Department of Justice could face jail time. Like, it's not going to happen, right? There's no world in which a member of this administration sees the inside of a jail. But that's technically the case. Not an executive order, but he signed an actual law. It was an actual law, Aubrey. Yeah, it was an actual law that the House and the Senate passed and went to his desk and he signed it. So there is a legally binding United States code that says, gotta release them pedodocs. So this is what I just saw before going live. I've been like kind of keeping an eye on stuff, but like, before I jump into this, I will say the Epstein files should be released. And obviously, it's awful. Like, I don't have a word to apply to the situation that is the Epstein files. I also am so numb at this point to said files. Like, I just don't know what it's going to do. You know, it's going to come out and it's going to be like, oh, the people who we obviously knew were going to be in it are in it. And here's a bunch of evidence. And the people who are so busted in the head that they can't possibly think negatively about their idols will ignore it, right? Like, that's what's going to happen. And I'm not trying to be a doomer here. Like, I'm hoping that at least some people will get, like, bucked by this, like thrown in jail for the pedophiles that they are. I'm just not holding my breath, I guess. But here is what I saw right before going live. U.S. to release several 100,000 Jeffrey Epstein files on Friday. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says that thousands will be unveiled in the next couple of weeks. This administration loves a couple weeks. Just a couple weeks. It's going to happen in a couple weeks, the next couple weeks. I'm also so fucking tired of seeing this dude's face and his grin. It's always this little smirk. It's always the little smirk. It's the, like, I just diddled a child smirk, and I don't like it. Anyway, the U.S. Department of Justice will release several 100,000 documents relating to Jeffrey Epstein on Friday after a months-long pressure campaign to force Donald Trump's administration to publish government files about the late convicted sex offender. Jeffrey Epstein, the New York financier? Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche told Fox News on Friday morning the DOJ would push reams of materials by the end of the day. Publish reams of material, including photographs and, quote, other materials. Other material, like
Sounds like rebellion.
Like used bottles of baby oil or some shit, associated with federal investigations into the former financier, who was found dead in his jail cell. I love that this is how news talks about Jeffrey Epstein's death now. He was found dead in his jail cell while awaiting trial. no one wants to wade into that conversation. What a conspiracy theory, right? Like, I'm not saying I'm not wading into the conversation. I'm not saying one way or another how the fucker died. But no one wants to state he died after he committed suicide in jail or after he was killed while in jail. They just say he was found. It's a passive voice thing, right? Jeffrey Epstein was made dead in his jail by some form of actor. Acknowledged the DOJ would not release all the materials right away, saying that several 100,000 more will be made public over the next couple of weeks. So it's not just like they're releasing some of the files and then they'll release a few more later. They're releasing some of the files and then they're going to release apparently there's like hundreds of thousands of more documents after that. Weedy Potter, 21 months. Holy shit. That's all a dice. That 220. Thank you so much. Friday's disclosures will be the latest chapter in a long-running saga that has gripped Washington and ignited a political firestorm. So yeah, like it's unlikely that whatever comes out today is going to be huge. You know, like it'll crush lesser people. It'll crush the convenient targets. We already saw, as of like yesterday, the Dem Oversight Committee, I believe, they released a bunch of the files, and in those documents we saw pictures of Bill Gates with underage girls. Noam Chomsky was on the plane with Epstein. But like, again, we knew this, right? Like, we knew Bill Gates and Epstein were socializing together, and like we've known that Chomsky is like been to the island and shit. Like, we have like proof now that we like weren't wrong about that assumption. But like, they're going to release the files in such a capacity that the people they don't care to torch will be torched. They don't care about Bill Gates. They don't care about Noam Chomsky. Bill Gates is a punching bag for the right. And like, you know, the whole thing with like Bill Clinton, like it's going to be Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, and like they'll maybe throw in a few like conservative-ish folks to make it seem like they're being like impartial about who's being sort of narked on from this. I don't expect it to be like, oh, hey, and here's the pictures of Trump. I don't even expect them to have exonerating evidence. I expect them to release a giant tranche of documents, make a big deal out of it. That giant collection won't have much stuff about Trump. They'll call that proof that Trump's not in the file. They're going to release the rest of it when people aren't paying attention anymore. So that's what I assume will happen. I'm not omniscient, I'm not prescient, but given my just experience in how the Trump administration likes to release shit from last time that they were in office, I'm assuming it's going to be messy and in chunks, and those chunks will be difficult to parse, and so on and so forth. Bill Gates is a nerd, says dysfunction executive. Bill Gates is a nerd. Bill Gates is a nerd. Bill Gates is a weird nerd. He's a weird nerd who famously like hacked his school's classroom rosters to get himself in the same classes as girls that he had a crush on. Shocker, he went to an island to abuse women. Wow. Who could have seen that coming? Let me fix the camera and get it on the dog. Hey. All right, fixed. There we go. There we go. All right. Total sidetrack, but Dev, you mentioned Moonkit, who made your runes, and I went to their website. I got so many gifts from my partner who absolutely loved the witchy advent kit I got her. So thanks for bringing that up several streams ago. Ollie, you are very, very welcome. Yeah, Moon Street Kits. I will always shout her out. Let me pull that back up. Moon Street Kits. This is a creator-owned shop. She's a mutual of mine. Does witchy shit. Like, makes like witchy shit like starter packs and all sorts of like just witchy materials. You need to cast a spell, you go here. I have, let's see. Where is the, oh no, is it under discontinued items? No, okay. I can't find witchcraft kits? No. Runes and divination, there we go. I've got these. And they rule. So good. Okay. It's really good. They're gorgeous. I really enjoy them. I don't know shit about fuck when it comes to divination. But I like how they look and they're pretty. So that's good enough for me. But yeah, Moon Street Kits, definitely check them out if you're if you or someone you know is witchy inclined. It's really, really good shit. Hello, Mr. Newsman. First time catching the stream. Tomorrow is my birthday, says Kivirado. I have a question for you. I'm gonna call you Kiwi. I'm gonna call you Kiwi. Hey, Kiwi. As someone who has a birthday, and I don't know what religion, I don't know where you're based, I don't know what religion you are, I don't know what you celebrate, but I'm going to make an assumption. I'm going to assume that you in some way celebrate a holiday that involves gift giving in some form in the month of December. So having a birthday so closely associated with this time, do you resent that, or is it like you get double presents? Like, what kind of a situation you got going on there? They look like they feel nice too. Yeah, they're fun to just like mess around with. I can go grab them real quick. I have too many drawers. There's too many drawers with too much shit in it. And I can't find anything. And that's your problem. Here's the runes. Check this shit out. Where's a good one? Here's a good one. Oh, that's a pretty one. Look at this. Boom. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And they're all custom. Like every single set is fully custom. They've got different flowers resined in them. So digging that. So that's neat. You give insane millennial vibes, but in the best way possible. That might be because I am a millennial and also mentally unsound, generally. Also, I'm from Poland. We celebrate Xmas kind of early. Okay, usually I can use it as a reason for a normally unreasonable gift, as in one big gift. I never considered that. I never considered the idea of using your proximity of your birthday to another gift-giving holiday to just combine the two and like basically lawyer your way into getting something much bigger. That's sick. That's sick. The Frankto says my mental sound is honk. That's kind of, my brain just kind of has a low frequency hum going on at all times. And that's kind of it. It's not much else going on in there. Hey, Dev, can I get a high five? No. Because I can't reach you. I'm not in the same room. I'm not about to smack my camera because it's not cheap. I don't want to break it. Please? Next time, if I see you somewhere, yes. But as it stands, I can't reach I'm not digital. I've yet to subscribe to like whatever weird tech cult that has people wanting to upload their like consciousness into the cloud. So I can't quite do that. How about finger guns? I can finger guns. There you go. I do it for the people. It's called tinnitus. It's not tinnitus, although I definitely do have tinnitus. It's just like the inability for my brain to just be quiet is the problem. Let's ride the roller coaster. Nitro Nick with the 5 gifted subs. Thank you very, very much. What'd you roll? 57. Nice. We're gonna ride the roller coaster. I want to sit. So we're gonna do that. Okay. Here we go. Please keep your hands, feet, ears, eyes, head, shoulders, knees, and toes inside the vehicle at all times as we ride the roller coaster. So I'm curious, I've been called, giving off millennial vibes or like you're so millennial or whatever before in the past. And I don't know what to make of that necessarily, because what's funny about that is like, I feel that way when I watch capital M millennial style content, right? The extremely over the top facial reactions, the like, I did a thing or I adulted today. Like that stuff also makes me and like I don't really care about cringe to begin with. I think the right way to be is to just not give a shit if someone thinks that you're being cringe. So like I don't care about that side of things. But I don't know what the things are specifically that I'm doing aside from like being expressive and quick. But like I don't do millennial pauses. Like I intentionally ensure that I don't post videos with millennial pauses. I don't like the rapid hypercuts or like super sudden zooms or I don't know. Just not my style. I prefer, or I guess more of like a brutalist approach. You look like millennial hipster because of the hat and beard. Oh, yeah, wait. Nitronix says, Dev, are you the stereotypical hipster? Yes. My lifelong favorite band is the Decemberists. I've been to, I want to say, 8 Death Cab concerts. I feel like I don't need to say much more than that. It's actually getting a little warm in here. Hold on. I'm going to set up a fan. Point it at myself real quick. Here, look at the dog while I do this. Like not cold enough that I want to, or not warm enough that I want to take off my jacket, but it's just slightly above where I want it to be. Weird weather. You look like a guy who would have gone to 9 Death Cab concerts and just can't afford the last one. I'm gonna be honest. I've been to enough Death Cab concerts. I've been to enough. I think I've done enough of that. Do you ever use the word doggo? Not in like 10 years. I haven't. Yeah, not in like 10 years. I just call Flynn everything but a dog. I've recently been referring to him as a Gucci bucket, and I don't even know what that means. I've just been like, oh, there's my Gucci bucket. It started because like I will refer to him as Pookie, and I'll also refer to him as Pookie Buttons because he's got Pookie Buttons. So like, obviously, and Pookie Buttons has now evolved into Gucci bucket. And now we're here. So I don't say doggo or pupper, but I do say Gucci bucket. Which makes me think about like Gucci as in like the high-end designer brand making like a Home Depot like 5-gallon bucket. Anyway, I've been to enough Death Cab concerts because I can tell because I went to the MCR concert in Jersey and Death Cab opened for them, which was like cool. And also it wasn't, I didn't get it. Like I like Death Cab. Benjamin Gibbard makes some good music. the opening set for that concert was so dramatically different in tone from the other openers, which I believe were Thursday and then MCR, and it was just bizarre. And I was like, yeah, no, I think I've seen enough Death Cab. I think I'm good now. Black Tie Suit says, I am also here. Hello, hello. It's a nutty set. Have you ever seen Postal Service live? I have, yes. That was better than any Death Cab concert, but it was a joint Death Cab Postal Service concert. It was when they were doing their like 10-year tour of District. But yeah, no, that concert was amazing. Holy shit. I mean, the MCR concert was incredible too. Best concert I've ever seen live was Gorillaz. But I might as well watch it online, says Black Tie Black Suit. I've always wanted to see Gorillaz live. But yeah, no, I've never really gotten around to there. I think the most surprising performance that I didn't expect was Father John Misty, who opened for, I believe it might have been the Postal Service show I went to. But I was like, holy shit, this guy rules. Like, I'd never heard of Father John Misty, and then turns out he's great. Anyway, so yeah. I'm not in the Epstein files. That's a good thing. I tried really hard to not be in the Epstein files, and I think I did a pretty good job on that front. The main thing that confuses me is what these people were doing with, like, there's so many photos of them posing for photos. Like, all of these pictures of famous people with Jeffrey Epstein are all like posed intentional photos. They were like, you know, it's a good idea at this pedo island with this like well-known open secret pedophile guy is take a photo smiling and engaging with him on his island with underage girls around us. This is a great idea. This is such a good idea. Why didn't we think of this sooner? And apparently that's like all they were about, was just like as many different pieces of photographic evidence as they could create to create a paper trail of them diddling kids. It's impressive, truly. They were bragging about it because they were sure they would never be caught. Yeah, I mean, probably. Like they think they're immortal. They think they're immune from everything. And like it does, to some degree, they're not going to face anywhere near the same consequences that, like, obviously the average person who just does, like, a normal crime would do. I would be shocked if, like, more than a single person from the Epstein files is put away for longer than, like, the average cannabis possession conviction. At the same time, it doesn't really matter how much, like, political favor you have if the entire world knows that you spent decades abusing underage girls. Like, there's canceling, right? Like, there's canceling someone, and then there's, oh, we have undeniable evidence that this dude was diddling kids for years and was so happy about it that they took pictures and shared it with each other and joked about it. I mean, my line is a little bit before that, personally, but... Gilded Dragon says, also back in the day before the internet got really big, most rich people didn't believe information could spread too far. Yeah. What's wild to me is that they're also, like, all emailing each other, which... I have a hot take. I have such a hot take. I have the hottest take. This is blistering. You ready? We should all email each other like they did. Like that we should all be using email in the way that Jeffrey Epstein was using email. Not to coordinate diddling children. We shouldn't use email to do that. But for like just keeping in touch with people, email is great. Like it's genuinely, you want a low pressure high availability method of just like sending thoughts to people and having a communication change. Email keeps a chat log. It keeps history. It's searchable. It's indexable. You can reply whenever you get around to it. There's not the like implied like text message immediacy of it. Basically, anyone can get email or make multiple different email addresses for basically free. It's supported by essentially the entire internet. It's an open standard, so no one owns email. Like no company owns email. Now, obviously, if you don't do anything to protect your terrible planning, like if you're going to use your email to send plain text plans to people to be like, hey, come diddle kids with me, that's a bad use of email. But you can send encrypted emails that only people who you intend to read can read it. So like, it's all kind of here. Like all the stuff is there to actually use email as a meaningful method of communication. But I know that I'm never going to be able to convince people to actually do that. Like I know I won't. But if you ever want to send me email, you can send me an email to neverending@fea.st, which is my actual public email address. neverending@fea.st, neverending feast. That is a real email address, and you can email it. Dev, do you want to email each other war plans? That's a good idea. It's a really good idea. I think that would be great. Remember, I'm upset. They got at Hillary Clinton for having her own email server. I bet they were wishing they had done that now. Well, yeah, the wild part is that this was all just on Gmail. Like, they weren't even using their own Exchange server. They weren't even using their own, like, email service. They were using Gmail. It's like, the email address is like Jeffrey Epstein loves little girls at gmail.com. And then it'd be like, oh, here's an incoming message from let's abuse women at gmail.com. And it's like, what is going on? Ella says, good morning. Hope y'all doing. Definitely am. For sure. Don't forget to CC War Thunder. That's where all of the actual intelligence community is right now at this point. This is vile. Courtney Walsh says, this is vile. When did, quote, men become so cavalier and blind to suffering? I think it's a handful of things at play. I think it is definitely a problem with men in our modern society with like how values are applied to men. That's a huge deal for sure. I think a much bigger like part of how people get so fucked up to this point, like I think the thing that really lends itself to self-selecting for the worst possible people is you don't get rich by working hard, and you don't get rich by having a great idea or selling something that changes the world. You get rich by navigating contracts and optimizing for your own money over literally everything else, which is usually something that a like narcissist and psychopath would do. And so like it's the same for politics, right? Why are there so many corrupt politicians? Well, to have the intention to run for a political seat means that you are a person who believes that you are the solution. Inherently, it means that on some level, you believe that you are the right person for this job, which means you probably have some kind of very positive view of yourself already. And so if you're already filtering out people who have more of a like a servant leadership vibe or a like a supporting a support person, basically a person who wants to be supportive and help as opposed to be like, I want the reins, you're already filtering out people who would probably do the most good. And so the same happens in the world of like business, right? There are people who are along for the ride and become billionaires. There's a lot of like tech founders who surrounded themselves with a C-suite that knew how to do the thing, right? Knew how to grow the stock, knew how to get investors, knew how to become rich, take money and make it more. And they're like, well, this nerd over here had a pretty decent idea and we are going to let that become a business and we'll just give him some money so that he doesn't feel like we're screwing him out of his intellectual property. Ultimately, what I'm getting at here is, yes, men in our society are very fucked up in a lot of different ways, for sure. I think the self-selection of people that made their way into Epstein's circle, they were all incredibly rich people, incredibly powerful politicians from around the world. Like, it wasn't just US people. It wasn't even just Western men. It was from around the fucking world. And these people are all self-selected by various systems, be it politics or capitalism or what have you, to be bad people. Like, you don't get to those positions without being a self-serving piece of shit and not caring about what you're doing to other people. You don't become a billionaire without losing the part of your soul that cares about other people's livelihood. Because to be a billionaire means that you have spent concerted efforts to push out any notion that anything but your wealth matters. Because you don't get to the $1 billion mark by going door to door and selling your doodads that people just really like. That's just not how you become a billionaire. A millionaire, maybe. You can absolutely become rich by working hard, having a great idea, being a business boy, any of that kind of stuff. You can totally get rich. I think what any of us would consider rich, like millions of dollars. But to be a billionaire is... It's just such a different, astronomically higher level. It is incomparable. To like to a billionaire, a millionaire is a homeless person. And like it like, if that, they're an ant. They are a tiny pebble on the side of the road. Where's that? Wait, there's that really good website that visualizes this. Visualization of billionaire wealth. Wealth shown to scale. Here we go. We'll go through this. This is fun. Wealth shown to scale. All right, scrolling. We've got, here, I'll zoom in a little bit, actually. Okay. This is $1,000. You can't see it because it's a single pixel. It's a single pixel is $1,000. Here is the median US household income. It's a little box. Okay? Small little box. This is what the average US person is bringing in per year. Median. Here's $1 million. This green box. Let's see what $1 billion is. This is $1 million. This is $1 billion. I cannot fit it on screen by comparison, and that's 1 billion. Now let's see what certain people's net worths look like. Here's $139 billion, which was the net worth of Jeff Bezos whenever this website was made. I don't think that it's still up to date. I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling at max speed. Still scrolling. I haven't stopped. I haven't let go of the scroll button. Remember the $1 million that was like a little box on the screen a while back? So Jeff Bezos did not work particularly hard compared to the average US worker to earn this, which I haven't even gotten through. I'm just going to grab the fucking scroll bar at the bottom at this point. Okay, there's they're so long that they put messages in it just for funsies. Jeff is so wealthy that it is quite literally unimaginable. We rarely see wealth inequality represented to scale. This is part of the reason that Americans consistently underestimate the relative wealth of the super rich. That's what I'm getting at here. If you can see down here, do you see the size of the scroll bar? It's barely wider than my mouse. And I barely moved. Every 10 pixels you scroll is $5 million. Coming up on the end. Just kidding. We're about a third of the way. Keep scrolling, though. There's more to see. We are 1/3 of the way through Jeff Bezos' money. Let's put this wealth in perspective by comparing it to some familiar things. All of the money you will ever earn in your life from the day you are born till the day you die. About $1.7 million on average. That's that by comparison. The annual cost of healthcare for a family of 4. It's that tiny, tiny little dot. Annual pay of an Amazon warehouse worker. Another tiny little dot. About the same size as the cost of healthcare. The annual cost to house every single homeless veteran. There you go. Just this box. Okay. Annual cost of chemotherapy for all cancer patients. We're still in Jeff Bezos' money. Even the fortunes of very rich people are dwarfed by the incomprehensible wealth of the 0.0001%. Let's keep going. What do we got here? All right. The wealth of Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon. So this is the CEO of Goldman Sachs. I can hear you. Let me share the link real quick. Here is the link. That should have sent, I hope. Did that send? Good. Okay. So, the wealth of Goldman Sachs CEO. So this is the wealth of the CEO of Goldman Sachs compared to Jeff. That's crazy. We passed Beyonce, I think. I need to zoom out, actually. Or, yeah, no, I need to zoom in. Okay. Wealth of Beyonce, $400 million. Again, $400 million. This is an amount of money that probably anybody here would be unable to even think of how to spend. Right? Aside from, like, I would put it all towards insert ridiculously expensive problem here, right? If you were talking about just spending money to live a life, I don't know how to spend $400 million. Like, I don't. Lifetime earning of a hedge fund manager. Oh, yeah. Wait. Doctor. Oh. Okay. Lifetime earnings of a doctor on average. Lifetime earnings of a lawyer on average. These people may see themselves as fabulously rich and often oppose policies at reducing income inequality, but they're not the rich ones. Many have not grasped the full enormous gulf between themselves and the super rich. We're still going. Okay. Zoom in. Wait, what do we got here? What am I looking at here? $200 million. What am I looking at? Oh. Okay. Jesus. No single human needs or deserves this much wealth. Oh, did we finish Jeff Bezos? Okay. 400 richest Americans have $2.96 trillion. I'm not going to go, like, I've barely made it into, I've barely dented this website. Like it just goes on and 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 on. It's insane. And like that's where the like income inequality really kind of gets lost. Like we don't even have the ability to conceptualize how much richer these people are. And yes, obviously, it's not like they're sitting on a pile of cash, right? If you are Jeff Bezos and you have over $200 billion, if you're Elon Musk and you've gotten a pay package recently that can go up to $1 trillion, you're not sitting on cash, obviously. Like it's all, in investments and assets and all sorts of shit. Also, kill yourself, eat a gun, and let us have that money. Like, in no way does a single billionaire sitting on all of those investments need to have all of that tied to themselves. In no way. It's not like those investments don't have value. Like, it's not like they're sitting on investments and therefore they're poor. They're sitting on investments and they can use those investments as leverage to do whatever they want. Like it's just not it's not a diffusing situation for them, right? Like them having their wealth invested in a bunch of different stuff doesn't make them not rich. Hello, okayish. Q stream ends because Twitch is listening. Yeah, probably. I'm kind of surprised that I haven't gotten booted off of more platforms at this point. Like, I don't tend to be aggro. Like, I don't go after, like, specific individual people. I don't beef with creators, like, at all, really. But I also don't really care about the continued use of billionaire lungs. And I'm not going to not say that. Hi, hello, good morning, says Libbles Doodles. What's up, what's up, what's up? As I said, a million minutes is 2 years. 1 billion minutes is the Roman Empire. 1 trillion minutes ago... Oh, sorry, okay. 1 million minutes ago is 2 years ago. 1 billion minutes ago is the Roman Empire. 1 trillion minutes ago is when the first humans walked the earth, says Esri. I have no way nor inclination to fact check that, but it sounds right. Buh. Don't have a boot to give you? It's okay. I don't need boots. I've got some bean boots. I can always turn them in if I need to. All right, what else we got here? Let's talk, okay. Oh yeah, the U.S. Hunger Games. So for those who didn't watch Trump's announcement thing, which good, you shouldn't have. Hey, it's time for a drink. I can hydrate. Thank you, Artastico. This is a real thing. This is a real thing. Don't start auto playing. Stop that. Trump touts the Patriot Games as part of country's 250th celebration. So the United States is going to have its 250th anniversary somewhat soon, next year, and Trump is trying to make a big deal out of it. So here's the thing you need to understand about our current president. He doesn't want to be a president, right? Donald Trump doesn't want to be president. He just wants people to call him the president. He wants to be the president in title. He doesn't want to be the president in job. What he wants to do is run a media company. That's what he wants to do. And so like that's why he's always trying to frame things like a big announcement, big release, a big like stunt. The whole like, oh, we're gonna send checks for $1,776 to the military. Like, never mind what it's gonna do to their housing budget, but he wants to just run a media empire, and that is made very clear when you read that he's announcing the Patriot Games as a part of the 250th celebration, which is going to be a like Hunger Games-esque, like one man and one woman from each state competing in a competition of strength. Also, there's going to be a UFC fight held on the White House grounds in honor of the US's 250th anniversary. Like, it's all so fucking stupid. It's just like, it's a fever dream for people who are really fucking lame, right? Like, it's all the ingredients that go into the stew that is a mindless cable news consumer, right? If you are just watching Fox News and you've got Fox Brain or whatever, and you're probably into UFC because that's where like a lot of the like high gay ass masculine energy that Republicans love happens. There's a lot of like big boys in the UFC world who are like, I'm a big UFC boy and I'm really cool and special and manly and definitely not gay. And you really like to follow my work because you're also not gay. Now let's all be not gay together because we're Republicans. No one outside of that group gives a shit. Some people watch UFC and they're like, oh yeah, it's a sport that's on TV. Okay, I'll watch that. But no one aside from weird performative Republicans are like, the UFC is synonymous with America. Like, it's just not at all. It's truly truly amazing how transparent all of this is, right? It's not. I don't care, right? Like, I don't care about hosting a UFC event at the White House. I don't care about tearing down the East Wing of the White House. I don't care that Trump has put up a whole bunch of like gaudy ass decorations around the White House. I don't care that Trump put up a bunch of posters in the White House that read like Truth Social posts of him ripping on former presidents. That's a thing. They put up plaques underneath pictures of former presidents in which they referred to Joe Biden as Sleepy Joe Biden and said that Obama was like the most divisive president in history, and also claimed that Ronald Reagan was a fan of Trump before Trump became president. And they're written literally by Trump. It was originally like, that seems like Trump wrote it, and then Caroline Leavitt was like, he personally wrote some of these. I don't care about any of these things. I don't give a shit. I don't live my life based on my conceptualization of a symbol of the US empire. The White House can burn to the ground and my country would exist tomorrow. I don't care. What gets to me is that we're still doing this. Is that we are, a decade plus into trying to own the libs? I'm not a lib. I'm kind of tired of dealing with the results of trying to own the libs. We haven't had policy in so fucking long because the entire conversation has been completely dominated by, we need to troll the libs. We need to own the libs. This is going to make the libs so mad. Ha ha ha, Trump did this awful thing. This is what I voted for because it makes the libs mad. We're still doing this. What gets to me is the abject ignoring of problems. We have issues in this country. We have problems. Even if you were to just ignore all of the hot button issues, remove, and obviously this is a huge issue, right? But the forefront shit that the Republicans are just like causing a huge stink about right now, immigration, trans rights, gay marriage, you move all that stuff aside, which we shouldn't do. We still have so many problems that we could be addressing, and we're just not, because the only fucking thing we're doing is coming up with reasons why we should be mean to other people and coming up with ways to trigger headlines that exist pretty much, as far as I can tell, purely to make Republicans think that the abstract concept of a liberal girl with blue hair is upset about something. When in reality, that liberal girl with blue hair is trying to pay for healthcare and housing and food. I don't think that the liberal girl with blue hair gives much of a shit about what Donald Trump has put up in the White House in terms of decoration. And then we see the things like, oh, they're bombing a bunch of boats in the Caribbean. Haha, the libs are going to be mad about this. Like, what is your problem? What kind of a life must you live where everything is filtered through, one, politics, like capital P US specific politics, and two, considering how it's going to make your perceived enemy upset? I cannot imagine living such an unfulfilling life that is what you need to sustain you. You've got nothing else going on. You don't have a direction. Like you don't have a goal in life. You're not contributing anything. You're not working towards something. You're just sitting around hoping to feel better someday by reading about something that a guy in the White House is doing that might make someone somewhere upset. And what sucks is, like, I don't even want to have to talk about it like this, because talking about it, like even acknowledging it, means they win, right? Like what they want is acknowledgement, because they have like a weird kind of kink shame thing going on. Like they want, or a shame kink thing going on. Like they want to be acknowledged as being fucking weird losers. Because once you do that, you've given them the power of saying, congratulations, you had an impact on my life. And they're like, haha, I did something. But again, like it's not, none of these things upset me. I haven't looked at a headline that upset me about dumb bullshit that's happening in domestic, not even domestic policy, like just like the dumb shit that he has said or done. It's like, yeah, of course he said or did that, because he's been this guy this whole time. If you're surprised that Donald Trump is being a racist idiot who doesn't understand finances, where have you been for the entire time he's been on this planet? Like it's such a well understood fact that the guy is a nightmare financially and has no idea what he's doing and is stupid. He's just a dumb person. And so to sit around and be like, yeah, even if you're like, yeah, he is a dumb person and I'm happy that he's just making everything worse. Like, okay, cool. So like, if that's your outlook, you are a problem. Like that is literally the definition of antisocial behavior, right? I've said before, like, give no quarter, basically. Like pay no mind to these antisocial fucks at this point. And when I say antisocial, I mean it in like the clinical term. I don't mean you don't like socializing with people. I mean, you exhibit traits that are detrimental to a functioning society. That is what antisocial means, right? If you are a person whose participation in society is exclusively to try to make it worse for the other members of that society, you're a cancer and you should be removed. I would much prefer for you to go in remission, maybe learn a few things and become different, but if you're going to refuse to ever budge, there's nothing more to do but ignore you and leave you behind, as you've been screaming and pretending you've been left behind. All these people are constantly complaining about how the libs and the coastal elite or whatever are doing all this shit and tyranny of the majority, and they're like, you know, leaving behind all these conservative values. Cool, contribute something. It's being left behind because it's not helpful to anyone. That's why it's being left behind. Because it's not congruent with society. And we've been dragging you behind us for so long, talking about climate change. Like, how many years have we had to deal with people being like, oh, it's cold outside, what happened to climate change? Like, we're kind of fucking over babying these people. We've been keeping them around and being like, oh, they're there, you're just an idiot, but we're gonna, you know, acknowledge that you matter and try to be good to you. And
Sounds
then,
like rebellion
unfortunately,
propaganda to me.
we were a little too loose with letting those idiots make all of the decisions. We were like, oh, well, you know, it's an idiotic decision, but we got to make sure that the idiots are also represented. So let's just go ahead and start doing idiotic decisions. Oh, but we don't want tyranny of the majority, so we'll just make them all idiotic decisions. And now we're here. We cannot afford to engage with these people on the grounds that they want to engage on. They have spent decades coming up with these like fake scenarios and convincing their base that that is the reality. They have spent decades saying immigrants are taking your jobs. The gay people are turning your kids gay, and now it's the trans people are turning your trans gay, or your kids trans. The trans people are turning your trans gay. All of these things, right? And they've just been hammering this. And like a normal, healthy, well-adjusted person who lives here doesn't think like that. They don't have a reason to think that way. But if you do nothing but consume what politicians are telling you, and you treat that like gospel, then of course you're going to have this fucked up, warped sense of reality, because politicians aren't in the business of telling the truth. And I don't know why people have such selective memory about that. Like, it's why we shouldn't believe the words coming out of any politician's mouth. Not just the right, but definitely the center, which is to say center-right Democrats. Like, Joe Biden told us he wasn't going to run again. Joe Biden said with his human mouth that he was going to be a one-term president. So it is imperative that we don't let them set the stage anymore, right? We've spent so long on the back foot where they're like, well, the drag show story time things are making the kids gay. And it's like, oh no, like that's not even, we should not even be engaging with that conversation. If a person genuinely holds that belief, they should be considered unstable. They should be considered in need of intervention, because that's just a crazy fucking thought. A normal person doesn't think that way. And I'm really fucking tired of having to just be like, oh, well, you know, all opinions are valid. If your opinion is that other people should have a worse life, I guess you could find a way to claim that that's valid, but you're a bad person. And that, I think it should be very understandable that people don't want to be around you, if that's the case. Rebel U.S. citizens. Here's the problem with doing some sort of like revolution or whatever in the U.S. This country is gargantuan and deeply divided. There are so many people who they probably don't even know who the fuck the president is right now, let alone paying attention and being angry enough to do something. It's a inertia thing. There are probably more than half of this country wouldn't get out of bed if there was like an active civil war. Getting those people to actually be engaged is very, very difficult. And it's even more difficult because this country is so gargantuan, and the people who really need to be activated are in places that are completely isolated from the rest of the world, basically. They have their own insular community that is led by like a faith leader usually. And that person essentially dictates thought patterns for that town. Like it's a matter of being able to reach the people who need to be reached and logistics. And right now, neither of those are anywhere near viable. The logistics for trying to do a nationwide uprising, unviable. The logistics of doing even just a general strike, unviable. That doesn't mean we can't do that. It just means we need to do a few things before we can do that. And that's the issue that I consistently see. I'm constantly getting people DMing me various websites for a planned general strike. And at this point, I just ignore them entirely. You don't make a general strike happen by registering a domain name and saying, we're going to do a general strike on this day. That's not how it happens. You do a general strike by unionizing your workplace, getting involved with other unions, and working with unions to plan a general strike and execute on it. You just get a few of the biggest unions in the country to go on strike. That equates to a general strike. You don't do it by having random individual people who have no way to support themselves without a job to go on strike. You have unions who specifically are entities to help their participants be able to manage life during a strike. They have funds specifically for that purpose. And they also can mobilize. They have people across the entire country, across business sectors, across every single state. And so they can send out a text message and say, we're striking. Here we go. That is logistics. That is how you do that. It's not a matter of, oh, I want to put together a general strike on this day. That does not work. Even all of the the European protests that we see, they usually are started because of unions. When you see about the protests in France that get way out of hand, shit's not way out of hand, that make a statement, we need to be like the French. Almost always it starts because of unions. It starts because of labor groups who are pissed off at some change the government made, and they make their voice heard. That is what we need to be doing. That is why I'm always saying unionize your workplace, because we need to have actual coalitions with plans and logistics. And I don't think that that's particularly hard or far off. I think it's just a matter of focus. So I'm not going to sit here and say that the US cannot do a general strike. I will say that attempting to go directly to a general strike is a fool's errand. And I get it. I get the desire. I get the hope, and I get the straightforwardness. It's really straightforward. If everyone just stopped working tomorrow, we would have this fixed in less than a week. Unfortunately, no plan that starts with "if everyone just" has ever been a viable plan. Because we can't even get people to agree on having fluoride in the water to keep your teeth stronger. We can't even agree on vaccinations being safe. We're not going to get an everyone just situation. It cannot happen. That is not how human beings work, especially because when you try to convince someone to do a thing, they're usually inclined to push back by default. So, yeah. If everyone just somebody walked to the Capitol. I've always wondered what would happen if a large enough group truly stormed the White House. Not just the Capitol, the White House. During a random day, during normal operations. And I'm not suggesting that we do this because I think it's a great way to get yourself killed. And I think the White House would probably win. I'm fairly certain that they've got mounted machine guns at the ready for that case. I know that they've got artillery on the roof, and I know that they've got snipers basically all the time. But I'm pretty sure that they would deploy some pretty heavy machinery if they needed to. Spirited Astronaut, I'm not sure if you're genuinely trying to push for people storming the White House and thinking that we actually have the numbers. They can't end thousands with arms. I'm not sure if you missed the entire discussion that I just said. We have the numbers is a lovely thought. Are you going to corral those numbers? How are we going to reach out to these people? How are we going to coordinate everyone actually leaving their day-to-day lives and going to Washington, D.C.? It is thousands of miles for a lot of people. It will take airplane rides to get enough people in to actually make a difference? How are we actually going to handle the children of the people who you're asking to go and run the White House out? How are we going to manage the people who need their nurses and their medicine and their income and their food? How are we going to actually get people the training that they need to be able to do the thing? Not even everybody who wants to do something has arms to begin with or knows how to use them. It's a logistics issue. Saying we have the numbers doesn't mean anything. Like, yeah, there's 350 million people living in America. We have the numbers. There's more poor people than there are rich people. But like, that doesn't make something happen. It just is a base concept, you know? Tavern vibes. Here we go. Gen Z did it. Gen Z didn't really. It was, if you're pointing to what happened in Nepal and in a few other like Southeast Asian countries, it is not as simple as Gen Z did it. That's not the full story by a long shot. There were internal and external state actors involved. Like, yes, people did quite a lot of uprising, but again, completely different country in terms of logistics, in terms of population density, completely different situation with a completely different government structure and completely different outcome. Like, it is not apples to apples in the slightest. That's that. Well, Spirited National, I appreciate your fervor. I appreciate your desire to make change happen. I get it. I so thoroughly get it. What you're saying right now basically just tells me that you're not in a place to actually recommend these things. Like, it's dangerous to just say, we could do this because I don't have a full understanding of the situation that I want to use as a template. Like, that is how you make mistakes, and that is how you do something like try to plan an attack on the White House that fails, and then the Trump administration is like, oh, cool, we now have free reign to round up anyone. Like, that's what that's how that happens. Of course, they would just round up anybody if they wanted to anyway. It's not like you need to give them a reason to do something. But long story short, unionize your workplace. I think that is the most direct way to make change. Population density is a huge thing. Read the sheer size of the United States. Yeah, it's wild. United States population density map. Let's see if we can find something interesting here. Nope. Nope. Ooh, what do we got here? What is this? Okay. Neat. You can kind of click into anywhere and be like, oh, what's this? Population density 2.3 in Hot Springs County, Wyoming. 2.3. I'm assuming that's people per square mile, right? Yeah. Yep. 2.3 human beings per square mile. When I say that the US is big and has a completely different population density compared to other countries, I am talking about the fact that Hot Springs County, Wyoming has 2.3 human beings per square mile. Let's see if we can find lower. Here's 2. Okay. 3, 4. We can do better. Come on. Somewhere in Idaho has got to be it. 0.9. 0.9 human beings per square mile. We don't even have a whole guy. We don't have a whole guy for this one. Wyoming, I got 4.3, 3.7. Come on, we got to find something. 8.7, that's not bad. 37 people in 1 square mile? It's getting crowded. 1.8. I don't know. Y'all said Wyoming, but I'm not seeing a Wyoming area that's a lower population density than. Here's a 2.0 and a 2.3. What about here? That goes up. 2.5. It's got to be South Dakota, right? South Dakota's got to have like 8.6, 5.1, 0.5. We did it. We did it. We got half a dude. They put half a dude in this square mile. Bluestone, we are looking at a map of population density in the United States. Yeah, let's go take a look at... Did they not... Is Alaska not on the map? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. 0. Okay, to be fair, it's 0.0 population density because look at the size. Alaska's gargantuan. Alaska's enormous. So that's not really a fair comparison. Anyway, yeah, like the population density of the United States is a problem for organizing. Getting people to a place, getting a bunch of people in one place is a logistics nightmare. Getting people who can take care of themselves in that place is a logistics nightmare. And getting people willing to do something and able to do something is a logistics nightmare. I looked away for a little bit. What's going on? Just looking at population densities. You know how it goes. What else do I have on here? Oh, weed. Yeah, weed. Let's talk about weed. Let's talk about that. It's not legalized. Trump cannabis order. Increasing medical. Oh God. Increasing medical marijuana and cannabidiol deal. Never actually learned how to. I've only ever read that word. Research. I know cannabinoid and I know terpene. Cannabidiol. Anyway, there was a lot of headlines yesterday. Trump signed an executive order about weed. So Trump signed an executive order about cannabis. This doesn't legalize cannabis. It doesn't actually reschedule cannabis either, to my knowledge. It is essentially an order. It's an executive. Okay, executive orders don't fucking mean anything. They're a tweet, right? Executive orders are a whim essentially, and this is an executive order that says, hey, Department of Justice, do what you can to look into rescheduling cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. What that means, Schedule 1, Schedule 3. Schedule 1 is a drug that is considered to have no medical use and is highly addictive. That is what cannabis is currently considered in the United States, which is absurd. Schedule 3 means it has some medical uses and so on and so forth. There's like ketamine and whatnot there. They're basically looking into rescheduling cannabis from 1 to 3, but this does not do that. So if anybody is telling you that he legalized weed, that is not what just happened. He's directing the DOJ to look in to eventually maybe making it less illegal to have cannabis. Dear God. They're refusing to release the files? Has that changed since I started streaming? Have they actually refused to release the files? I'm not seeing anything about that. Venezuela, the Wisconsin judge. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about them not releasing it, but I wouldn't be surprised. Weed isn't legal in the USA. That sucks, fam. Weed is stupid in the USA. Weed in the USA is legal in some states. Some states weed is legal for medical purposes and you have to have a medical card. In some states it's legal for medical and recreational purposes, and there's like a difference between that. In some states it's not legal, and in some states it's fully just anybody can get it with restrictions. Federally, it's illegal. So currently in the US, individual states have legalized cannabis, but the federal government still considers it an illegal drug, which means that, excuse me, there are restrictions on how you can do businesses with, or how you can do business with cannabis companies. And so like for a long time, they were entirely cash only businesses because they couldn't use banks, because the banks have to adhere to federal law, and federal law says that cannabis is illegal, even though states say you can buy this and use this. And it's just a fucking mess. It's just like everything else in this country. It is a haphazard mess that is predicated entirely on racism. The only reason it's even illegal in this country to begin with is because of racism. The fucking Nixon administration said as much. They have stated, it wasn't even an admission. It was like, oh yeah, we did some racism. It worked really well. Nixon admin, cannabis, racism. Let me find this. Nixon advisor admits war on drugs was designed to criminalize black people. You want to know what that was really all about? The Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House after that had two enemies, the anti-war left and black people. You understand what I'm saying? We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did. This is not new. This was from 1994. When a Nixon administration official made this statement. So in 1994, we knew that it was intentionally targeting leftists and black people by associating them with drugs. Also, I believe Mexicans, like Mexican nationals also being associated with drugs. Yeah, gangs and drugs have taken over our streets and blah, 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 blah. 1994, we knew this. It's not new. So like, yeah, America is real good at having a lot of things that only exist because racism and are very inconvenient for everyone. Marco Rubio is live right now at the end of the year address. I 178 FV, I appreciate you following and welcome in. Good to have you here. It would take money for me to go watch Marco Rubio talk. I don't think that man has ever said something that is like worth hearing with my human ears, like with my fleshy ears, right? I'll read it with my goopy eyes. I'll read what he had to say with my goopy eyes every once in a while, but I don't think I want to sit there and watch the sad little man say words. I have a stick of gum. Is that enough? It's going to take at least 4 sticks of gum. Marco Rubio has the same appeal as wet socks, says Corndog McGraw. It's true. I don't know what anyone is supposed to make of Marco Rubio aside from he's the weirdest loser I can think of beyond Ted Cruz. Libbles Doodle says, I'm a lurk, make some ramen. Hell yeah. Enjoy your ramen. Yeah, like Marco Rubio's whole, like, He was called Lil Marco by Trump. He was like so anti-Trump, and now he's like, I'll be a good boy and I'll clean up your messes and I'll do all the stuff and I'll be a dick. Like, dude is a child of immigrants and is now a core member of the Let's Fuck Over All Immigrants administration because, and this is true, he's thoroughly cucked. Like, absolutely so thoroughly cucked. Might get pink eye reading that much bullshit. I'm used to it. I put on goggles before I dig in. Myanius, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Ben says he really is quite little though. I didn't realize how small he was until that Vanity Fair pic of him standing by the lamp, like Elf on a Shelf size. The Vanity Fair photo shoot is so good. Like it's really good. I'm trying to find the picture there. What is he doing? What? Why are you like this? Marco! Oh no. And he made this his profile picture on Twitter, as far as I understand, to try to do the like, haha, I'm in on the joke thing. You're not in on the joke. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You're just not in on the joke at all. I would sooner accept, right, like Marco Rubio trying to play this image off like, haha, we're making fun of me. I'm in on the joke. I set this as my profile picture on Twitter. I would sooner accept Charlie Kirk setting the like the Cartman photo as his profile picture. Thankfully, I don't need to accept that because Charlie Kirk is a dead man who's dead. Marco Rubio, I will never accept that he's capable of being in on a joke. He's a moth desperately trying to restrain himself from going into the flame. Oh, man. Yeah, all the Vanity Fair pictures are really, really, really good. Sad sim. He's a sad sim. I'm not owned, says Angel. God, where would this world be without drill at this point? Just prescient, just like always on. Somewhere Gale is telling him to stop licking the damn thing. I started a new Baldur's Gate run. 2 of them. Because that's how you play Baldur's Gate, is you start many runs at once. What was that image? It was an image of Marco Rubio looking sad and dejected. Let me see if I can find the Vanity Fair White House photo shoot. So Vanity Fair did a bunch of portraits at the White House. Why can I not just find the Vanity Fair article? I'm sorry. It's just, I go to the Vanity Fair article and the picture is this is the header image of the article. It's even better zoomed out. Oh my God. Hold on. How's this? Is this good? Am I getting it? More of a... I feel powerful. I feel like I could be the Secretary of State. Incredible. I don't have a Vanity Fair subscription, so I can't do that, but we can go to the images tab here and pull up some of this. So essentially what happened was Vanity Fair sent a photojournalist to go take a bunch of pictures of people working in the White House, and the photojournalist was brutal with the way they depicted everybody, by way of basically letting them be the, like, we've already kind of talked about this earlier, the like weird performative bullshit of all of these people thinking that they're the coolest motherfuckers alive. Essentially, every one of these photos feels like the Vanity Fair person just let them be them. And then when they took the picture, it's like, yeah, dog, you look like a loser. Because only losers try to look hard, right? So we've got this masterpiece of an image. Don't even know where to begin. We got the faces are really good. We've got JD Vance is just kind of arbitrarily sitting. Marco Rubio looks like a deer in headlights, like just kind of trying to figure out how to be a human being with a face. He's like, I don't actually know. I don't know how to do this. We've got barely counts as a human being. Like, only in like the technical sense is this guy a human being. I don't know what's up with her. Terrifying in general. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's get to the good ones. Why is there a random whatever? Okay, yeah. Oh, here's a good collage, it seems. Oh, I don't want to go to threads. No, I'm good. Oh, no. Okay. Oh yeah, these close-up shots. So they did a bunch of these like wild close-up shots of all the different people, and it's not a vibe for them. We've got like this is they published these. This one's wild. There's a person back there. You can't really see it, but there's a person back there, and it's just weird fucking framing. Where's the one of Marco Rubio, or not Marco Rubio, JD Vance? Okay. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can find the JD Vance one. JD Vance. There it is. Found it. That was much easier than I was expecting. What? Okay. Look at this motherfucker. Ah! JD. My guy. What are you doing? So he, for one, looks incredibly small here, obviously, right? Like he is trying to look hard. Lilith, I can hydrate. Also, hi, Lilith. He's trying to look hard. His shoulder is at the same height as this light switch, so he looks tiny. He's standing next to a flag that then looks like it's dwarfing him.
Sounds like
he's 41. Is he?
Me.
I think he might be a 12-year-old in a suit. He's standing like a 12-year-old in a suit, trying to figure out how to put his hands somewhere. But yeah, like he's trying to look hard. But look at what we've got going on here. Beyond just looking
That's rough, buddy.
like a loser. Just like what the way they wanted to portray all of this is so fucking intentional. And I'm not gonna pretend to be. There's a lot of people on various social media websites who are like actual like photographic journalists who are analyzing these pictures. I don't have that eye, but as a normal person with eyes, I can see that this is the White House. This is the symbol of power in the what is supposed to be the greatest country on earth. The fuck is going on here? What is this? What is this baseboard? Even if this wasn't all cracked up and fucked up, what is the paint job here? What is this floor? What is this carpet? It's ugly as fuck, and I can see individual scrapes, and what the fuck is going on with this wall? It's dirty. Like, what's the takeaway supposed to be? Even if they did more to like touch him up and make him look nice, the rest of it, like the snapshot, is the thing. Anyway, it's really fucking great. It's so good. These people are such losers, and like, you give them a chance to try to be cool, and they're gonna just be losers because that is who they are. They don't know how to be cool. And the funny thing is, their entire like all of their politics are about trying to be cool. All of their politics are about like being the ones who are representative of the culture of the West and what America truly is. And we're stern, suit wearing, cool guys who don't take shit from nobody. And it's like, you would get uncomfortable in a dive bar that had like a few day laborers there. You'd be like, I need to go somewhere else. I can't be here. This is too spooky. I can't be here. Like, you're not hard. It's so silly. I thought we were past this. It's like, it feels like like the death throes, like the death rattle of the like masculinity movement. You know, when I was a teenager, the whole like man code thing was at the height of popularity. The like, oh, I'm gonna take your man card. Like, oh, a man can't do blah blah blah. It's the man code. If you do that, you're no longer a man. That was like the meme when I was a teenager. And then people kind of got fucking over that because all that led to was a bunch of men coming up with rules about how to make themselves more miserable. And so people were like, nah, I think we're done with that. But then like the weird contingent of losers whose only personality was that got real upset. And then Gamergate happened. And then now we're here. It's all Gamergate, actually. At the end of the day, it's all Gamergate all the way down. The carpet is made up entirely of sample swatches because they were too cheap to buy one. Photographer is deliberately making them look bad. What's funny is they probably signed off on it and thought it looked awesome. I think the photographer is intentionally trying to make them look bad. I don't think that it would be good faith engagement to say it's just pictures. What do you mean they're trying to make them look bad? It's like, yes, obviously they're trying to make them look bad. That said, it's not like they edited these photos to make them seem evil. Like harsh coloring and shit, yeah, and like that doesn't help much. It's the vibe that I think is the thing that's like giving this staying power. There's so many unflattering pictures of politicians. They're everywhere. If you search for any major public figure, there's gonna be a ton of unflattering pictures of them. Unflattering pictures isn't the thing. It's the rawness. It's the fact that it's like they tried in their head to pose for a flattering picture, and all that's coming across is this person's trying to look like they're posing for a flattering picture. And it doesn't work because of how fucking soulless they are. Angel's Reign says it's not like they edited these photos, period. Yes, but no, but kind of. Like, they definitely took more than one picture per person. They definitely made the conscious decision of what photos to go with. They definitely made the conscious decision of making those super zoomed in, super highly cropped photos be a thing in the first place. Like, those are all decisions by the photographer that lend itself to ultimately, like, yes, there was intent here. But it's not like they went into these pictures and edited in a document that says evil plans. You know, like, it's not like they edited. They didn't Photoshop them. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. The shadows and poor lighting, the way each person looks uncomfortable in their photos, the photographer knows these are going to be the next mugshots or next to mugshots. I'm hoping these become the things that are in like history books. That would be great. Well, of course, but they certainly didn't airbrush or edit out the eyes and their crusties and the close-ups. Yeah, no, they didn't. They did no favors whatsoever. That's for damn sure. This was all the photography. This was his thing. Yeah. The photographer has a history of this. And they knew what they were getting into. The photographer has a history of like really intense photography, like really intense photojournalism. Yeah. Like if they didn't do any research about who they were bringing on and let me put it this way. They got outplayed, right? Like they got outplayed by an artist. I can't think of anything more embarrassing for this administration than being outmaneuvered by an artist in the media. you got I don't know, it's the exact thing that you're constantly saying, like, oh, we're so strong and cool and special, and then it's like, oh no. Anyway, I'm gonna move on from this. It's just some photos. It's not actually that huge of a deal. Anyway, I mentioned that I started a Baldur's Gate run, or new Baldur's Gate run, earlier in the stream. Which reminds me that I think I'm gonna do something a little different with my gaming channel on YouTube, and that might happen today. Maybe not a new video, but maybe an announcement. I'm not quite finalized with my plans yet. But if you want to be ahead of schedule on that, let me get my channel link posted. If you want to be at the forefront, I cannot speak and type. Okay, you can follow me on YouTube there. It's my alternate channel, it's my gaming channel. It's gonna be it's gonna change a little bit later today. But if you want to be in on that action, be sure to follow over there. Yeah. Nitro Nick with 5 gifted subs on Twitch. Thank you so very much. What do we got here? 48. Good shit. Thank you. I cannot speak and do anything else. We are max ADHD. Yay. I can speak and do certain stuff. I cannot talk and type words that I'm not ready to write, if that makes any sense at all. I can talk and code simultaneously, sort of, but that's because coding is like a different brain mode for me. Amazing. You can stream some gameplay over here. Yeah. If I'm not going to be doing gaming. Like if I do gaming streams, they'll probably be on this channel still. But expect a broader variety of topics on the other channel beyond gaming. Can't do English twice at the same time, essentially. Actually, that's probably it. Yeah, because I was writing like words, not code. Dev, do you think in text or audio? I think in visualizations. I definitely like have an inner monologue, but I can't describe how I think in terms of. Hold on, let me think. Definitely not text. It's audio and video. Yeah, it's like AV. I've got an AV club up in my head. Have you heard of the game Hydroneer? I have not. Is that where you drink a lot of water? I'm good at that. Attainers at 20 months. Rolled a 223. Hell yeah. And Leon Silver Fox. Welcome in. I'm going to love on the dog for a second because he's really, really, really cute right now. Here we go. That sweet buddy.
Praise.
That sweet boy. He's so good. Look at him. A curled up pup. Ooh, got like a sunset
Amazing.
kind of vibe from that color spin. God, I love this animal. Love him quite a lot. He should get a hat. He seems to not care at all. Even sort of. Like, not even a little bit. Forest Ranger Flynn? Oh, hell yeah. Only Flynn can prevent forest fires. Is he even awake? Nominally. Father, thank you for the circular blanket. This music makes me feel like I've just walked into a tavern in The Witcher or something, says Esri. Yeah, we are on the Tavern Vibes playlist, so that's good news. I'm glad that I nailed it. This playlist is called Tavern. I'm glad that I did good. Does he eat cheese? I have a story about that. Like, he doesn't habitually eat cheese because I don't give him people food. He doesn't tend to get people food. I don't feed him from my plate or anything like that. Except one time, my parents came over, and my parents, if there is a family function happening in my family, there's going to be cheese and crackers. It's a given. And so my parents brought over 2 different blocks of cheese, and I was giving them, it was after I had moved into a new place, and they put it on the counter. I was giving them a tour of the counter, and we come back, and there's no cheese on the counter anymore. But there are 2 empty cheese wrappers in Flynn's crate, and also Flynn in Flynn's crate, licking his lips. And he ate 2 whole blocks of cheese, like 1 full block of Gouda and 1 full block of cheddar, in a few minutes. Shockingly, completely fine. He had no reaction to it whatsoever. Did not get sick, did not really have anything happen. I've not given him cheese ever since then. I never intended for him to get cheese in the first place, but he's like not one to swipe stuff. Like, he doesn't go for people food. I can leave like a sandwich or whatever on a plate on a Flynn height table, and he'll just sniff it. He won't go for it. But this one time, he did go for it, and he ate 2 whole blocks of cheese. I'm not even mad. I'm just impressed. Classic, yes. Just like me, for real. I used to, when I was a kid, enjoy this one. When I was a kid, I was a man of culture, right? I just didn't know it yet. I didn't realize that I was super into charcuterie boards, right? But when I was a kid, I just wanted like cheese and ham on a plate, basically. Like that had a perfectly good meal for me. I still do that. It's fucking great. Just get some like deli ham and cheese and just slice it, roll it up, eat that shit. So good. But I didn't know what the cheeses were called when I was a kid, and all I knew was that there was like the Kraft singles, you know, like the plastic wrapped, individually wrapped cheese, and then there was the big block of cheese, which was usually cheddar, and that's the cheese that I liked. That's the cheese that I wanted to have with my ham on a plate. And so the name that I gave to this dish was big cheese and ham. So I would ask mi madre. I would go to mi madre and I'd be like, "Hi, mi madre. I want some big cheese and ham." And that was very normal and understood. And to this day, if I were to say big cheese and ham, 100%, we know what we're talking about here. I don't want that small cheese, not the individually wrapped shit. I want the big cheese. and ham. God damn, now I want some big cheese and ham. Fuck. That sounds really good. Love me ham and cheese on a cracker. Haven't had that in so long. It's so good. I'm literally just eating sliced cheese off a plate right now. It's the best snack. It really is. It truly, truly is. Go Gouda or go home, I guess. Oh, it's almost 1. What should we talk about for the last topic for the stream? Because I got to go eat soon. Somebody give me a topic, and I'll talk about it. Gamer, what does your Steam replay look like? I don't tend to do the year-end wrap-up things. I don't much enjoy them. I don't know. I'm weird about them. I also didn't play many games on Steam this year, frankly. But the answer to your question of like what games did I play this year would probably be Fire Emblem 3 Hopes, which is a Warriors game, Hades 2, Balatro, and now Expedition 33. I have just started Expedition 33. I'm like 3 hours in. Topics. Spaceballs sequel? Oh yeah, there's gonna be a Spaceballs sequel. That's kind of it. That's kind of the entire thing to say about it. I don't know what more I can say about it aside from it's happening. I think I talked about that in a Stuff Keeps Happening at some point in the past. You played a bit of Palia and Stardew Valley on stream. That counts. Yeah, Palia and Stardew Valley. That counts. Okay, I've seen a couple of people mention the Larian AI, Gen AI thing. I'll talk about that real quick. I talked about this last stream as well, so I won't go on like full on rant mode because that was a big part of last stream too. In short, I think people are wildly overreacting. I think AI has no place in creative processes. I think that the second that you have a thing that can be genuinely done better by a machine rather than a creative person, then you have a thing that's not good. Like that's not being creative. I would much prefer for creatives to do creative things. I think that there are bigger fish to fry. I think that it sounds like Larian is basically saying we are a business in 2025, and there basically does not exist a business in 2025 that does not have an AI tool somewhere in their tool chain. I wish they wouldn't use it at all. I also do not think I don't think that it is worth the response that has happened, which is like people talking as if like Baldur's Gate is a tainted game now and Larian should be burned to the ground and so on and so forth. Like, let's temper our reactions to things just a smidge. Let's get a little bit of perspective before freaking out. Because while Larian is saying, hey, we are using AI somewhere in something and so on, and also we're trying to hire artists and, nothing in the final game will be from AI. While that's happening, you've got like Square Enix being like, hey, we want to replace developers and writers with AI entirely. Like we want to have games that are entirely just built by AI. We want so on and so forth and blah, 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 blah. Like, there are companies that are saying we want to undermine artists explicitly by using AI. And like, there's a really big difference between like being very loud about your preferences and like sending death threats to employees of the company when they're doing it's like when somebody agrees with you on like 95% of things and disagrees on 5%, and that 5% might be significant, but as long as it's not like human rights issues, like, hey, okay, maybe we pump the brakes, find some way to talk about this, figure out a path forward. I don't want them to use it. I don't think it's good. I would prefer for them not to. And also, there's just so many bigger problems, even in just the world of AI in gaming. Angel's Reign says the studio for Expedition 33 also used generative AI in production. No, there are no generative, there are no generative. There are no AI generated images in the final build of Expedition 33. There was a situation where they published a build that had assets still in the binary that were, I believe, unused, if I recall correctly. Like unused assets that either may have or were definitely generated by an AI image generator. And I think they were like using it as placeholders or something. But when somebody dug into the game's files, they found those images and they were like, oh, this game uses AI art. The reality is they were leftover assets that were intended to be removed but weren't before the production build went out, and a patch just removed all of them and they weren't being used in the first place. So like it's still weird and different and nuanced, and like I guess what I'm getting at here is nuance matters. Because like I said, at the same time, we've got Elon Musk saying, I'm going to make a game studio that's entirely AI. We've got Square Enix and EA, all these massive publishers basically saying, we're going to undermine the gaming industry and game developers and game writers and concept artists and 3D modeling artists and everything by trying to replace all of them with AI. And like, that is fucking awful and should not be a thing. I also do not think that Larian should be using AI if they can help it at all. And also, I can't think of a single company who I interact with their products in any way that doesn't use some form of AI somewhere in their company, even if it's just they have Google Workplace and Google Workplace has Google's AI built into it now. So like if you are a company that uses Google Workplace, you are using AI at your company. Like that's it. You've already crossed that boundary. If like unless they've gone in, I don't even think you can fully disable it. I don't know. I would prefer a world in which people weren't using systems that have AI tools built into them, and I would prefer a world in which these companies were not like using the lowest common denominator software, which requires them essentially to use AI. I'd prefer a world in which Larian's stance was, we will never even remotely use AI at all. I'd prefer that world. I'm being judicious with where I'm putting my anger and my energy, because I don't think that my anger and energy is going to be effective by getting upset at Larian. I don't think it's at a point where you can replace most people, but I'm no expert. It's not. AI is not at a place where it can do the things that they want to be able to do with it. And they basically keep saying it will get there eventually, we promise. But there's no proof of that. There's no even proof that the current way that AIs function is capable of the things that they want to be able to do. Like, they're selling snake oil. And the thing that they're using to convince people to buy that snake oil is a fairly convincing snake oil-like substance. Like, you use ChatGPT and you're like, wow, this seems like it has potential. This seems really powerful. I can see why they think it's going to be able to be a general intelligence eventually. All of these tools have been getting markedly worse. They're all getting bad. Like, they haven't ever really been great, and they're getting worse. And we're already seeing to reach the world that we want to reach with generative AI, we need to build all of these data centers everywhere. And people are like, what in the fuck? Like, we're not getting anything back from this right now. All you're doing is consuming intellectual property and energy to output a remixed version of that intellectual property. And we're seeing data centers getting pushed back on. We're seeing contracts fall through. And we're also seeing that OpenAI is essentially in a position where they need to make back an amount of money that is essentially impossible for them to be able to cover all of the current expenditures that they have going on. And they're like, it doesn't matter because once we reach the promised land, money will be no object. That is essentially what their bet is right now. Their bet is essentially keep investing because we're going to get to a post-money society. That's like the only way it's going to work. That or a bubble burst. There's probably some level of bubble in AI, but I don't know if it goes away. I don't think it's going away. I don't think it's going away ever. I don't think that we're going to see a complete disappearance of even generative AI. But like, to be very clear about like what words I'm using, I guess, like AI has been actively a thing in most people's lives for over a decade, and you just didn't notice it. AI has been used to power systems. It just didn't have a mouth. All that like ChatGPT really did was put a mouth on existing systems. Like these systems were already, they were already extant, and they were trained to basically take very specific sets of data and do very specific tasks. And what ChatGPT is trying to do is say, instead of being specific, let's just absorb everything and then let it output stuff. Whereas like AI previously might say like you might be a scientist, like a researcher, and you're like, hey, here is like gigabytes, if not terabytes, if not petabytes of human genome data and like cancer screenings. We want you, AI, to try to find a link, like try to identify like tells in the human genome that might indicate cancer. And like that is an incredibly good use of AI because humans cannot do that very easily, and normal computer programs cannot do that very easily. AI pre-ChatGPT was an actual solution for, I need to have a computer do a thing that I can't tell it to do, but I know I can tell when it would be right. I know that it would be correct if it reaches this goal, but I can't get it there, and I need it to figure out how to get there. So I'm going to throw a bunch of data at a neural network and let it just do its thing. And that contributes to research. It contributes to medical research. It contributes to so much. And even lesser stuff like notifications, when to push out notifications to users on your phone. There's like, you know, AI that is basically just like taking in a bunch of different signals and saying like, okay, it's like this time of day, the user is in this location, and there's this news is happening, and in the past they reacted positively to like this notification. So all of these signals come together to feel like, yeah, we're going to push out this notification now. Like that is AI. When they put a mouth on it, and they were like, haha, you can ask it to write a poem about blueberries. And people were like, wow, it wrote a poem about blueberries. Like, okay. It was previously solving cancer. Like, why is this the thing that we're investing in? Why is the blueberry poem machine the thing that causes this massive bubble and the next phase of humanity? I don't think that's the best use of it. So I don't think that AI is going away, and even the generative stuff, like I don't think it's fully going away basically ever. But the business and the essentially cult that has like cropped up around all of this, it needs to go away. It needs to break. They're like the people who are working on AI truly believe that they are building God. Like their goal is to create a system that can achieve immortality for them. They believe that these things are conscious. There's like articles published by like Anthropic, by engineers at Anthropic that are like, I was working on our AI model and it started to speak to me and I could tell that it was sentient. And it's like, you are the person who's the engineer here and you are delusional. Like, it is not sentient. We know this. We understand that it's not sentient. You should know this too, because you're the one building it and selling it. But instead, you're trying to claim that you believe it's sentient, and you're like saying like, oh, it's gonna be able to like cure every disease ever and do all this stuff. Give us endless money. Anyway, that's my AI rant. I'm gonna go now. AI psychosis is just egotism and gullibility. Yeah, and if you, to be clear, anybody, if you start seeing the word abundance getting thrown around by a lot of like, especially like right-wingy people, but definitely like techie people, if you start seeing people talking about abundance, run in the opposite direction as far and as fast as you can. The like abundance theory is the new coat of paint that the tech cultist people have put on their previous tech culty shit, and is essentially the notion that tech will bring us, like, tech is prophetic to bring humanity and deliver us into a world in which there is no need for money or concern for anything, because we now have everything we could ever need and we've reached like unity or something like that. It is essentially a rebranding of techno optimism, which is essentially just, I work in tech and I think I'm the most important person ever and I want more money. So my religion is me and my computers. That's basically it. I'm gonna head out. I feel like I talked a lot about a lot. So I'm gonna go stop talking for a bit and eat some food and walk my dog and so on and so forth. So thank you all for hanging out with me today. It's been a wonderful stream. I will see you on Monday for Stuff Keeps Happening. You can definitely follow the newsletter for free at skh.news. Make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, because TikTok is probably going to be owned by Oracle soon, and I don't even know if I'll be posting there anymore. So be sure that you're following me on YouTube. If you haven't hit subscribe, if you haven't hit like on the YouTube stream or whatever, that really helps me out. Sharing my content is incredibly helpful. If you have like family members, friends, people you're going to be seeing over the holidays, let them know about my channels. Like that is one of the best ways to help me out, is to introduce new people to my stuff. So I would really appreciate that. That's all I got. Bye, everybody.